Hi, welcome to Glow's Kindred Kitchen, and I'm Glow. Well, today I thought I would share with you a recipe that I make on the stove, and I call it tuna and noodles. And I've made it for years, and I just thought I'd share it with you. It's all up in my head. I did write down a few little ingredients and stuff over the years, but anyway, let's go ahead and get started. One of the nice things about this recipe, it's usually stuff you have on hand. You cook it on the stove in one pot. And you can have dinner ready within like 45 minutes to an hour at the most. So it makes it for an easy dinner and also easy cleanup. So I've got my pan here. This is a Dutch oven, and I'm warming that up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of butter. And I opened up a can of tuna fish, and look how nice that tuna fish is.
Looks good, Miss Glow. This
is packed in olive oil. And so what I'm going to do is I'm draining out the olive oil to include with this. I won't be putting this tuna fish in until towards the end. But this olive oil in here will add a lot of flavor. Okay. And the only other ingredient in here besides the olive oil is sea salt.
What kind of tuna fish is that?
It's solid albacore tuna.
Okay.
So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of olive oil that I have. And actually I'm just going to finish off what I got in my bottle. And before we started this, I went ahead and I cut up my veggies. In here I have 1 small yellow onion, 1 stalk of celery. I'm going to go ahead and start putting it in. There's the celery. You can see the size that I've cut it up as. It's small. And then I took 1 carrot. Yeah, you smell that tuna fish, don't you, baby? And I actually steamed that in my microwave to start it because this takes longer to cook. So that will help us in the scheme of things here to make this a quicker meal. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this up. I have it on medium. And I'm going to just saute this for a little bit, and I'll be back as it starts to soften, and we'll go to the next step. Well, it's been about 5 minutes, and can you guys see how the onions are becoming translucent and the celery is starting to cook down?
Looks
and
good.
The carrots. And by steaming those carrots, this really helps this all come together much quicker. Now I have 4 mushrooms that I cut up into bite-sized pieces, and I'm going to add that so that starts to saute. Smells delicious.
It does.
Okay, so then the next step is you want to add flour, because what I'm making here after sauteing this, I'm going to make a roux, but I'm making the roux right along with the veggies because that'll help toast them up and get them to cook more. So you can see where it's just really coming nicely together there. So I'm going to go ahead and add my flour. So I had 2 tablespoons of butter in here, and then 2 tablespoons of olive oil plus a little bit more. So when you're making a roux, you want to do it 1 to 1. So for 1 tablespoon of shortening or butter, you're going to do 1 tablespoon of your flour. So that's 1, because this isn't a true tablespoon. So I'm doing heapings. 2, 3, 4. Now we'll see how this comes together. I'm a cook that cooks a lot by sight and smell and feel, so you'll have to excuse me, but I really wanted to share this with you guys because this is a great recipe for a family. see how that's coming together?
Looks good, Miss Glow.
So what I'm going to do, because you want to cook your flour so it gets rid of that flour taste. So I'm going to let this brown here for a bit. The longer you let it brown, the more flavor you're going to get. So as this is browning, I'm going to be listening to it, but also smelling it, because it's going to get a nice nutty flavor and smell to it. So anyway, I'll be back in just a few minutes and we'll go on to the next step. Hi, well, welcome back. Look at this, how this is browned up so nicely. Can you guys see?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, that's your flavor. That is your friend for any kind of a dish like this. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I have 4 cups of milk here. So I'm going to go ahead and stir this in slowly. I wish you guys were here so you could smell this. When you brown your flour like this, it just really helps. And of course the onions and the celery and mushrooms and all that's just, it's delicious. But see how that quickly that thickened up?
Yes, we do.
Okay, now I'm going to add some more.
Okay.
By adding a little at a time, it makes it much easier to blend everything together too. Look how yummy. And this already has great flavor, I'm sure, to it. And I haven't even began to add the herbs and stuff that are going to go in here. And the only salt so far is just the sea salt that was in that olive oil from the tuna. So I'm going to continue to add this milk, and then I'll be back and I'm going to show you the next step.
Sounds good.
Well, here we go. I have just 2 cups of that milk in so far. I wanted to show you how this is thickening up so nicely. So I'm going to add a little bit more. That's about a cup. So now we got 3 cups of milk in here. So now I'm going to go ahead and start adding some of my other seasonings. I have some of this Better Than Bouillon chicken base that I'm going to put in here. And I'm going to start with just 1 teaspoon. And my burner right now is on medium high. And I would not leave that there unless I was right here, because you don't want this to scorch or burn. Smells so good. So now I'm going to start adding some of my seasonings. I have garlic powder, and I'm just going to put a little bit. I have onion powder.
How much do you think that is?
Just a couple dashes.
Okay.
I just turn my burner down just a little because I don't want this to scorch at all. So then the next thing is I have thyme. This is dry thyme, and so what I like to do, and see I don't have much at all, I'm going to bloom that in my hand first by rubbing it.
How much was that, do you think?
Like maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon.
Okay.
I have dill. All of these herbs I'm putting in pair really well with tuna or fish or anything like this. Same with the dill. The dill was more like 1/2 of a teaspoon.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and add that last cup of milk. while that's warming up, we're going to finish adding, this is tarragon. Tarragon goes real well with fish. That's maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon. It has a distinct flavor and it's a little strong, so that's why you don't want to put much. I have marjoram. This is actually a member of the mint family, and I'm going to just put a few dashes.
Marge.
White pepper. White pepper goes real well with any kind of a cream sauce, so I'm going to go ahead and put some of that in. And it has a sweeter flavor than black pepper.
How much was that, you think?
That was a few dashes, so
Fine.
I'm starting off small here. We can always add, but you can't take away. And I've got nutmeg. Nutmeg goes really well with any kind of a cream sauce. So I'm going to just start off with a few dashes. Okay, now I'm going to put in a little bit of fish sauce. Just a few dashes. And a little bit of oyster sauce. All of this goes really well with tuna or any kind of fish. And again, just, you know, that was maybe a 1/2 tablespoon at the very most. If you don't have some of these seasonings, by all means, don't go out and buy it. You know, just use what you got, what you think would pair well with what you're cooking. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my noodles right to this pot, and they're going to cook right in this sauce. So these noodles they're an egg noodle. And they go really well with any kind of dish like this. And I got these at Aldi. They have a long shelf life, and yes, you can make your own noodles, but these are very good. And for a quick, easy meal, this is the way to go. So at the most, I put maybe 2/3 or 1/3 of that bag. So this is going to be cooking probably about 10 minutes, and I'll be back, and then we're going to be adding the tuna. We'll see you back in a little bit. Hi, well, here we go. Look at this. This has been cooking maybe 3-4 minutes, and it's already kind of, you know, the noodles are soaking up that sauce. So I'm going to be adding a little bit of water to this, but when I do that, I am going to rinse out my tuna fish can. No sense wasting that flavor.
Good idea, Miss Flo.
And I have 2 cups of water here that I can add as I'm going along here if I feel like I need it. We like ours real creamy, so that's why we add the water occasionally as we're going. But anyway, I'll be back in a little bit, but I just wanted to show you that tip. Well, take a look at this, how this is all coming together so nicely. I'm going to sample one of these noodles and just see how far along we are. It's got about probably 4 minutes left. It's got a little bit of a crunch to it. So, once the noodles are done, then we're going to be adding the tuna and also some frozen green peas. So I'll be back in about 4 to 5 minutes and we'll continue. Well, I just sampled the noodles again and they're ready. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the peas. There's about a cup here. They're frozen. Won't take long for those to cook at all. You can add more too if you want. You can add whatever vegetable you want in this. There's a lot of things you could add to this that would just be delicious. Now I'm going to add the tuna. See how nice that tuna is?
Looks good.
Yep. And again, I'm going to take a little bit of this water. No sense wasting, especially the price of food today. And we're going to put that right in. And I just broke up that tuna. So now this is going to cook for probably about 5 to 7 minutes, and then we'll have dinner. So this is a one-pot dinner, and we serve it in bowls. But anyway, I'll be back in a little while, and we'll show you what it looks like. Well, our tuna and noodles is done. Doesn't that look delicious?
Looks delightful.
You can use this same idea for like cooking any kind of meat with noodles. And if you've noticed, there's hardly any sodium that I have added to this. Yes, I did add the oyster sauce and the fish sauce, but not very much. And 1 teaspoon of that Better Than Bouillon. But a lot of our flavor in here is from our herbs that we put in, and also the browning of that flour, along with the vegetables. I can't tell you enough how much that adds to a flavor of a dish. But anyway, I'll be back in a little bit and we'll taste it for you. Well, here we go. This is the way we usually serve it, in a bowl like this. And see, you got the carrots and the tuna, the mushrooms.
The peas.
Yep. And it is delicious. And I didn't add any other seasonings after that first go around. So I added a total of 1.5 cups of water along with the 4 cups of whole milk. It's really nice and creamy and flavorful. It's one of those meals that kind of sticks to your ribs, if you will. It's just it's a crowd pleaser, and this is plenty for 4 people. This will be a couple of meals for us, at least. And like I said, you can apply this to other meats or proteins, or you could just make it as a vegetarian if you wanted to. But anyway, I gotta have another spoonful. It's so good.
Save some for me, Miss Glow.
It's delicious, you guys. I wish you were here for dinner. I could have made up a huge pot. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. And if you have, please like and subscribe to our channel. We would really appreciate it. And give me a comment and a thumbs up. I hope you enjoy. Talk to you later. Bye.